Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into a medical milestone that honestly feels like science fiction coming to life. We're unpacking the groundbreaking launch of Novartis's Pluvicto over in India. Now, this isn't just some small incremental update we're talking about. This is a fundamental shift in how the world approaches oncology. We're going to break down the science, the strategy, and most importantly, what this means for the patients who desperately need it. Let's get into it.
Picture this for a second. What if we could actually treat advanced cancer from the inside out, literally cell by cell? For decades, our approach to systemic cancer has basically been from the outside in, broad, sweeping treatments that take a toll on the whole body. But what if we could shrink our perspective all the way down to the microscopic level and deliver a solution directly to the individual problem areas? Well, that incredible inside-out science is exactly what we're exploring today.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the Prostate Cancer Challenge, addressing the limits of traditional treatments.
To really appreciate this new solution, we have to respect the problem. When prostate cancer advances to a metastatic stage, which just means it's spread beyond the prostate to other parts of the body like the bones or lymph nodes, it becomes incredibly complex to treat. Localized options like surgery or external radiation, those are pretty much off the table for a cure at this point. So, historically, doctors have had to rely on traditional systemic treatments. But the brutal reality is that those traditional therapies eventually hit a wall. The cancer adapts, it outsmarts the drugs, and patients are left dealing with really tough physical side effects and diminishing returns.
And the statistics here are completely sobering. A staggering percentage of patients eventually exhaust all their standard hormonal and chemotherapy options. The cancer just learns to resist them. And remember, this isn't just some number on a chart. We're talking about fathers, brothers, and sons globally, and especially in densely populated regions like India, who are desperately waiting for a completely new way to fight back. That massive unmet medical need is exactly why a breakthrough in how we target these stubborn cells is so incredibly urgent.
That brings us to Section 2. What is radioligand therapy? Let's demystify the science of targeted treatment.
I know, radioligand therapy sounds like super intimidating medical jargon, right? But let's break it down. It's actually just a treatment that combines two distinct parts into one really powerful team. First, you've got the radio part. This is a therapeutic radioactive isotope, basically the energy payload that damages the cancer cells. Then, you've got the ligand. Think of the ligand as a highly specialized homing beacon. Its one and only job is to seek out and bind to specific receptors found almost exclusively on cancer cells. Put them together and you get a highly precise delivery vehicle carrying a really potent therapeutic payload.
This comparison perfectly illustrates the paradigm shift we're talking about. On one hand, you have traditional chemotherapy. That's essentially the shotgun approach. It circulates everywhere, attacking all fast-dividing cells. Yes, it's effective, but it comes with heavy collateral damage to healthy, normal tissues. On the other hand, you have radioligand therapy. This is the sniper approach. It ignores the healthy cells entirely and only locks on to specific cancer targets. It's literally the difference between blanketing a whole city to stop a few bad actors versus sending a highly trained, targeted team straight to their exact coordinates.
Moving right along to Section 3, Pluvicto, the precision missile. Here is how the therapy targets cancer at the cellular level.
Walking through how this actually works in the body is just fascinating. Step 1, the patient receives Pluvicto via a simple injection right into the bloodstream. Step 2, the ligand part starts its hunt. It's specifically looking for something called the PSMA biomarker, prostate-specific membrane antigen, which is heavily overexpressed on advanced prostate cancer cells. Step 3, it finds the PSMA and binds to it tightly, like a key clicking perfectly into a lock. And finally, Step 4, once it's anchored directly to that cancer cell, it releases its radiation payload, destroying the cell's DNA and neutralizing the threat from the inside out. So, just to reiterate this elegantly simple but profoundly complex mechanism, Pluvicto is basically a heat-seeking missile. It carries a precise explosive payload directly and solely to cells expressing that specific PSMA biomarker. This ensures the energy is concentrated exactly where it needs to be, doing maximum damage to the tumor while keeping toxicity away from surrounding healthy organs. The idea of treating cancer cell by cell, it isn't just a concept anymore. With this therapy, it's an active clinical reality.
Let's zoom back out for Section 4, the India launch milestone. Novartis expands regional access to cutting-edge care.
Novartis officially debuting Pluvicto in India is an absolutely massive structural milestone for healthcare in the region. India has a vast population with incredibly diverse healthcare needs. Now, historically, Cutting-edge therapies like targeted radioligands can take years or even decades to reach patients outside of Western markets. There are just so many regulatory, logistical, and infrastructural hurdles to clear. But by bringing Pluvicto directly to India, Novartis is drastically expanding access. For patients and families navigating the really dark realities of late-stage prostate cancer, this launch is a sudden, vital injection of hope.
And the leadership at Novartis really hit the nail on the head. They emphasized that this is about bringing an innovative, highly targeted treatment paradigm to patients in India to genuinely transform the standard of care for advanced prostate cancer. This isn't just corporate pharmaceutical news, It's a deeply human victory. It means oncologists in the region now have a revolutionary tool in their arsenal, and it means men who were previously told they had run out of options finally have a new, highly sophisticated pathway forward.
Which brings us to our final takeaway in Section 5, the future of care. What targeted oncology means for tomorrow.
Okay, so what should you really take away from this explainer? Well, first, the challenge is still steep. Metastatic prostate cancer is relentless, and it evades traditional, broad-spectrum therapies. But second, the solution is beautifully precise. Pluvicto uses that PSMA biomarker to deliver radioligand therapy directly to the cancer, sparing the healthy tissue. And third, the milestone is profound. Novartis launching this in India dramatically expands global access to a life-extending innovation. Why this matters is so simple. We are officially entering an era where medicine adapts to the exact molecular fingerprint of a patient's disease, rather than just crossing our fingers and hoping a generalized treatment works.
I want to leave you with one final question to chew on. Now that we've seen how remarkably effective radioligand therapy is for prostate cancer, the door is wide open. With therapies like Pluvicto successfully mapping the way, what other complex, previously untreatable diseases will we soon be able to treat cell by cell? The pace of medical innovation right now is staggering, and we're really just scratching the surface of what targeted oncology can achieve. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Stay curious, and I'll catch you on the next deep dive.